Five Nights at Freddy's, Fazbear Frights, Book 8, Story 1, Gumdrop Angel. Angel opened her eyes and saw nothing. Darkness. Had she gone blind? She tried to blink, but found she couldn't. Was she even worse off now than before? She felt weak and heavy. Her body ached. Angel raised her hands to try and rub her eyes, to clear the guck from them, but her hands whacked against something hard. Trying not to panic, she groped around to figure out what she'd hit. All she felt was wood. Flat, smooth, unrelenting wood surrounding her. She was in some kind of box. A very small box. Angel tried to scream, but her mouth wouldn't work properly. She began writhing her body, flailing her limbs, but it did no good. She just kept banging against the box. She was trapped, and she felt really strange. Woozy, like she was going to pass out. Why was this happening to her? Angel really wished she had earplugs, and nose plugs, and blinders. No, skip all that. Angel really wished for the ability to teleport. Yeah, that would be good. If she could teleport, she could just instantly go someplace else. But first, she'd have to be invisible so she could get away with teleporting. Or maybe she could have superpowers so she could just obliterate everything that was here. No, that might be a little extreme. Teleporting would be good enough. Where would she go? Pretty much anywhere but here. A landfill, a sewer, the most dangerous part of town. She could think of a million horrible places that would be an improvement on her current situation. After all, what could possibly be worse than here? Angel and her family were in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And if there was a place on Earth that was more like hell than this, Angel didn't know about it. Freddy's was bad enough on its own. A relentlessly bright and cheery place with decor in strictly primary colors and a headache-inducing black and white checkerboard floor. But then you added the children. No, not just children. Amped up children. Crazed, overexcited, peeing in the ball pit, puking in the arcade children. Not much worse than just a few dozen little kids having a birthday party. It was obnoxious, mixed with miserable, topped with shoot me now. Angel looked around, and she had to admit that some of her distaste, alright, maybe all of it, could have been related to envy and resentment. Her birthday had been the month before, and no one had thrown her a party of any kind. Maybe at some point in Angel's life, she could have appreciated a kid's birthday party. Theoretically, she would have liked having her own birthday party here when she was little. She was sure if she had a party, she wouldn't have been as loud and insufferable about it as the kids in Freddy's were. She would have been happy, yes, but she would have been graceful about it. At least, she'd like to think so. But then again, she never got to test that theory. Seeing as her dad, not her current pathetic excuse for a stepdad, but her biological father, equally pathetic apparently, left when she wasn't even walking yet. Her mother had to be both the moneymaker and the full-time parent. During those years, her mom had disappeared into her job, while somehow staying in a constant state of broke. There was just never enough money for things like birthday parties. Now that Angel's mom had married Myron, aka Call Me Dad, no, thank you very much, parties like this were in the budget. But, well, Angel was older, and so ostentatious displays of frivolity. And, come on, was a little kid's birthday party honestly important enough to spend thousands of dollars on balloons, pizza, soda, cake, and candy, and presents? No way. It was a waste of resources. That money could have bought Angel a car or paid tuition for the performing arts college she wanted to attend. Thankfully, Angel had qualified for a student loan based on her mom's low income in this last year before she married Myron. But Angel shouldn't have had to get financial help, not when Myron could more than afford to pay her way. She never did call him Dad, but that was because he hadn't earned it. Wasn't a dad supposed to pay for his kid's education? Angel looked at the woman who had gotten her into this screwed up situation. Her mother. Her weak, self-interested, gold-digging mother. If only her mother paid half as much attention to her daughter as she did to her own looks. Still reasonably young, Angel's mom had bouncy short blonde hair, bright blue eyes, and a face she spent thousands of dollars a year to keep pretty. Forget homework help or mother daughter dates. Angel's mom was too busy spending half the day working out or updating her wardrobe at the mall. Maybe Angel's mom would have been halfway decent if she'd had a good partner by her side. But then again, maybe not. Angel's mom wasn't exactly a paragon of patience or understanding. She also wasn't very good at cooking, cleaning, organizing, or planning. She didn't have a cool job like film editor or fashion designer or talent agent. From observing her friends' mothers, Angel thought these were the qualities that went into being a great mom. The qualities her mother had: an expert at improving her own looks, a whiz at makeup and clothes shopping, a world class champion of flirting with men, a connoisseur of sleeping in, and a master of self absorption to the point that she forgot anything not associated with her own happiness, did not make her good mom material. Behind Angel, a little girl squealed, hitting decibels that should have been illegal. Angel put her fingers in her ears. "Stop that!" Angel's mother snapped. "You're 18, not 8." Oh, right. That was her mother's other notable quality: star of bowing to whatever man was paying the bills at the time. The truth was that Angel's mom didn't like loud screaming children any more than Angel did, but right now, she was playing the role of Myron's wife, and Myron's wife was the mother of a 5-year-old. This meant Angel's mom had to pretend she was happy to be at this party, and part of that pretense was to chastise Angel for dropping the act. Angel rolled her eyes. Her mother was pathetic. So was Myron. And so was Ophelia, Myron's revolting daughter. This whole family was pathetic. Even Angel was pathetic, because she had to be a part of this family. She needed to get out of it. She'd come so close to surviving her childhood without facing the stepdad thing. The whole time she had been growing up, her mother had been looking for the right husband and father. The right husband and father being one who had lots and lots of money. Angel had lost count of the number of men who had come and gone over the years. There had always been some guy. Some of them had kids, some of them didn't. When Angel had been dragged along on family dates, she had the comfort of knowing it was temporary. She didn't have to go home with the guy or the kids. But then her mom had met Myron, and Ophelia came with Myron. Who named a kid Ophelia? Ophelia was Hamlet's lover, a woman who had gone crazy because Hamlet had seemingly gone crazy. Did that seem like the best inspiration for a baby's name? Curious about Ophelia's name, Angel had looked up the meaning of it. Ophelia was a Greek name, she discovered, and it meant help, as in, help! I was named after a tragic mental case. It had made her laugh when she read that. She could hear Ophelia's chirpy little kid voice saying it now. Speaking of the annoying, squeaky voice, "Don't you want some pizza?" Ophelia asked Angel. Before Angel could answer, Ophelia said, "I'll share mine." Then she pushed a slice of the foul-smelling excuse for pizza toward Angel's face. Angel hated Freddy's pizza. The sauce had way too much basil, which gave it the offensive smell, and made it, as far as Angel was concerned, inedible. Ophelia missed Angel's mouth and smeared Angel's jaw with sauce. She could feel her hair sticking to it, too. Angel slapped Ophelia's hand. "Get that away from me!" Ophelia's face crumpled. She jerked back, and the pizza slice flew out of her hands, landing face down on Angel's chest before sliding into her lap. Angel jumped up, and the pizza fell to the floor. She looked at the red stain on her good jeans. "You little brat!" she yelled at Ophelia. Ophelia's chin quivered. Tears spilled from her eyes. "I was just trying to share." "Don't yell at your sister," Angel's mother cut in. "She's not my sister," Angel shouted. She grabbed for some paper napkins and wiped at her face and hair. As she did, she noticed several kids and adults at surrounding tables were staring at her. Great. She'd managed to make a spectacle of herself. Even in a room full of manic kids, she felt her face redden, and she sat down. Angel, Myron growled, throwing her a scathing look, which he reserved exclusively for his stepdaughter these days. He turned to Ophelia. Come here, my princess. Ophelia, crying hard now, crawled into Myron's lap. She hit me, Daddy. I was trying to share my pizza. Ophelia raised her arm for Myron's inspection. There was nothing on her arm except pizza sauce, but Myron looked at the poor offended arm and kissed it. Then he turned on Angel. I didn't hit her, Angel said before he could say anything. I shoved her hand away. That wasn't technically true, but Angel would get grounded for a year if she admitted to hitting Ophelia. Myron opened his mouth, but he was cut off by one of the animatronic performers on the stage in front of their table. Being the birthday girl, Ophelia had to have a prominent place in the audience for the Fazbear Extravaganza show. They were 2 feet from the stage, and they were 2 feet from the stage. If Angel had wanted to, she could have reached out and swiped frosting off Ophelia's 5-foot-tall layered cake. It was sitting on stage to the side of where the animatronics were going to perform. Angel had been dreading the big show because she knew it would be loud and chaotic, over the top. Now, however, she was grateful for it. It was drawing attention away from the family drama playing out at their table. Ophelia immediately forgot the assault on her precious arm. She turned to Myron. Up, Daddy, up! He dutifully repositioned her on his lap, so she could stand on his thighs. The full skirt of Ophelia's yellow frilly dress puffed up into Myron's face. He kept a grip on Ophelia with one hand and shoved aside the tool with his other. Ophelia stared up at the stage with bright eyes. She wiggled her hips and threw her arms around in an awkward dance of some kind. Angel hated Ophelia. The kid was a nuisance, always dragging out a board game or begging to play pretend with Angel. She would jump into bed with Angel almost every night with a book and whine of, Will you read to me? Sometimes Angel did read to Ophelia, but she resented the time it took. Angel was busy. She didn't have time for a little sister. And then there were the horses. Ophelia had a thing about horses. Her whole room was filled with them. Plush horses, plastic horses, wood horses, posters, photos, and oil paintings of horses. She had a huge rocking horse in her room, and though she was getting too big for it, she rode it every day. So did her dolls. That was Ophelia's world. Horses and dolls. It was, in fact, the theme of today's party too. Angel was so sick of horses, of hearing about them, reading stories about them, being forced to join Ophelia in playing with them. When Ophelia had demanded that her birthday party be at Freddy's, which was sadly her favorite restaurant, Angel had pointed out that a party at Freddy's wouldn't be a horse-themed party, which was also what Ophelia wanted. Freddy's didn't have horse characters, but Ophelia wasn't deterred. She wanted what she wanted. Usually, Freddy's parties were Freddy's themed, so Myron had to negotiate with Freddy's manager to bring in special themed napkins, plates, hats, and decorations. He also bought every kid in the place a horse toy. Angel had heard enough pretend neighing today to last a lifetime. I love my party, Daddy, Ophelia cried out. She grinned, revealing pizza sauce stained teeth, and looking for all the world like some kind of cannibal. It wasn't a pretty picture. Not that any picture with Ophelia in it could be pretty. No matter how you dressed her up, Ophelia was truly an ugly little girl. Poor kid. That was the only thing that made Angel feel an ounce of kindness toward her. No question Ophelia was a thorn in Angel's side, but the poor thing couldn't help how she looked. Just as Angel got her mom's looks, Ophelia got Myron's. For reasons Angel couldn't fathom, her mom thought Myron was a catch. Not because of the money. She actually thought he was handsome. Angel thought Myron was a gorilla. Tall and trunk-shaped, Myron had dark brown hair, all over his body. He was the hairiest man Angel had ever seen. Now, of course, Ophelia didn't inherit that trait from her daddy, but she did get his prominent brow ridge, large nose, and small eyes. She also got his long arms. She looked like a chimpanzee. which was sad. Chimpanzees were cute, but kids who looked like chimpanzees weren't. On the stage in front of Ophelia, Freddy's animatronics were getting ready to perform. An announcer, a male Freddy's employee wearing a top hat and a bright red tuxedo, was chattering away with the crowd. The announcer was young and blonde, round faced, and perpetually smiling. "Is everyone having a super duper time?" the announcer asked. "Yes!" all the kids shouted. Ophelia screeched her yes even louder. The sound sent a stab of pain through Angel's temples. "Is everyone ready to have even more fun?" Freddy himself called out. "Yes!" the kids chorused. "Fun, more fun!" Ophelia squealed. She wiggled so spastically in her dad's lap, he almost dropped her. "Are we ready to rock and roll?" Freddy shouted. Everyone in the restaurant, except Angel, yelled yes, and then the restaurant was filled with cheers. Angel noticed Myron was giving his stepdaughter the evil eye around Ophelia's billowing yellow skirt. Angel didn't care. The restaurant was now far too loud for Myron to chew out Angel. Ignoring her stepdad, Angel left her family at the table and went in search of a restroom so she could try and salvage her jeans. The long rectangular tables in Freddy's were crammed together, and they were all full of hyper little kids and a smattering of weary looking adults. Angel had to twist this way and that to work herself free of the unruly pack. When she was almost through the melee, Angel collided with one of Freddy's employees. As she started to say, "Excuse me," he turned toward her. She only got her first word out because she was looking at one of the cutest guys she'd ever seen, and he'd robbed her of the ability to speak. "Sorry," the cute guy said. "I should have been looking where I was going." Angel opened her mouth, and nothing came out. The cute employee grinned at her and started to say something else, but that's when the animatronics on stage started belting out a rock song with ear-shriveling vocals. The singers, combined with the band's heavy on drums and electric guitar style, made speaking impossible. Angel began to move on, but the cute employee took her hand and led her out of the dining area. She thought that was a little presumptuous, but she didn't protest because the hand was warm and strong, and it was attached to the cute employee. Also, he was pulling her away from the noise and the spastic mayhem, both on the stage and in the audience. Aware of the pizza sauce still in her hair, Angel raised a hand to swipe at her face. She wished she had a mirror so she could clean herself up. If not for the pizza sauce, Angel would have been pretty confident about her appearance. Although her mom hadn't done much for Angel, she had passed on her good genes. Angel had her mother's blonde hair, only Angel's was shoulder length, blue eyes, pleasant features, and slender body. Even though she wasn't much for fashion and cosmetics like her mother was, Angel had her own style. She didn't wear a ton of makeup. She simply lined her eyes with kohl and kept her lips glossed. She was into retro thrift store or clothes, and she was a whiz with scarves and jewelry and other accessories. She liked playing with them so much she usually kept an extra scarf or strand of beads in her purse so she could change her look when it suited her. Today, she done some cool loops with a 70s belt around her narrow waist, and under that, she wore a flimsy 60s peasant top that clung to her just right. If Ophelia had decided to spill sauce all over her, Angel would have been fit for a date right now. The cute guy led Angel down the hallway outside the dining room. The hallway, lined with cartoony pictures of Freddy's animatronic characters, ran along the length of the dining area, connecting Freddy's entrance with the back of the restaurant, which presumably was where the kitchen and offices were. The pictures were framed in bright yellow, and all the characters wore happy, jaunty expressions. A few doors opened up off the hallway, including those to the restrooms. Angel eyed the ladies' room door as they passed it. She wished she could go in and clean herself up. They were headed, though, and herself. They were headed, though, toward the front door of the restaurant. Angel wondered if the cute employee was going to try and get her to leave with him. But he just took her to the little waiting area filled with red plastic chairs, which was near the entrance. When they reached the chairs, the cute employee motioned to them. "Have a seat. I'll be right back." He darted back down the hall they'd just come down. Angel wondered, even as her butt hit the molded plastic, why was she so dutifully doing what the guy wanted? Had she inherited more than her mom than she thought she had? Was she turning into a male-pleasing automation on mission? Angel couldn't explain why, but she waited in the chair for at least a minute. Then, concerned that she was abdicating her entire sense of an independent self, Angel started to stand. Why had she let the guy drag her out here in the first place? The cute employee reappeared. He was carrying several paper towels and a spray bottle of what looked like water. He sat down on the seat next to hers. Wow, he was cute. Just a little taller than Angel. The guy was broad-shouldered, narrow-hipped, and clearly fit, with dark hair and dark eyes and strong features. He had the kind of looks that pretty much any girl with eyes would find attractive. "I'm Dominic," the cute guy said. He had a wonderful voice, deep and resonant. Angel involuntarily lowered herself back into the chair. "Angel," she said. "Yes, you are." Angel rolled her eyes. Dominic grinned. "You've heard that one before." "Of course you have." Angel smiled. She couldn't help it. He was irresistible. "But you made it sound better than anyone else has." Dominic laughed. "Now, there's a good line. I should take lessons from you." Angel laughed. "No, that's a terrible idea. I just sort of blurt out whatever I'm thinking. That's not always the best thing." "I disagree. Honesty is highly underrated." A group of giggly little girls burst out of the dining room, ran down the hallway, and poured into the ladies' room, like a swarm of frilly pink-clad bees. Angel was glad now she wasn't in the ladies' room. She turned back to Dominic, and figured she might as well see where this encounter went. "Thank you for saving me." "Did I? I was just doing my job. I'm an assistant manager here, and one of my duties is to make sure the customers are happy. I saw a pretty girl smeared with pizza sauce, and I figured she'd be happier if I cleaned it up." He raised the spray bottle and the paper towels. Dominic reached out and touched Angel's pizza sauce-crusted hair. "Not that you totally rock this Italian food in the hair look," Angel laughed. Dominic leaned toward her. Angel held her breath. "Do you mind?" Dominic said. "I don't think pizza sauce is a good conditioner, and as a hair color, well, this particular shade of red doesn't match the rest of your hair." Angel said nothing. She was trying to remember what she last ate. She hadn't eaten any of the pizza her mom and Myron ordered, but she did have some chocolate candy. Well, that shouldn't have given her bad breath. Dominic was dabbing at her hair and the skin of her jaw and neck with paper towels he had sprayed with whatever was in the plastic bottle. Whatever it was smelled flowery, and it was warm. It felt soothing against the skin of her jaw and her ear, and he was being so gentle. Who was this guy? It seemed like he came from an entirely different planet than and the guys at her school. They were oafs by comparison. None of the guys she knew at her school would know how to clean pizza sauce out of her hair. "Okay, that's better," Dominic said. He tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. Then he looked down at her jeans. He held out more wet towels. "Think you can handle the rest? I don't want to be disrespectful." Angel laughed and took the towels. I appreciate that." She worked at the stain on her jeans. The deep red faded a little, but didn't disappear. She hoped it would come out in the wash. "So I assume you're here with your family?" Dominic said, once Angel was cleaned up. "Yeah, sort of. My stepsister is the birthday girl." "Ah, so did I save you? Does she make you clean the fireplace and scrub the floor too, Cinderella?" "She would if she was old enough to care about that stuff. For now, her daddy, my stepdad, is the one on my case." "Ah, yeah, that can suck." "Yes, it can." "I haven't seen you before. What school do you go to?" It's like, okay, what school do you go to?" "I'm graduating from Marymount in a month." "You?" "Same. Graduating in a month. But from Graves Academy." "Ooh, snazzy." Graves Academy was a private school for brainiacs. Angel was impressed in spite of herself. "Yeah, right." Dominic gestured at his Freddy vest and name tag. "I know I make this Freddy thing look good, but you should see me in my school uniform. It would knock your socks off." Angel looked down at her sandal-clad feet. So did Dominic. "See?" Dominic said. Even thinking about me in my uniform knocked your socks off. Angel laughed, even as she groaned. Dominic smiled. So, how did you end up wearing our pizza instead of eating it? Please tell me a server didn't get this sloppy. No, not a server. Ophelia. Dominic raised an eyebrow. Hamlet's helpless lover? Yeah, right? See. And see, I was just thinking about that. Why would you name a child Ophelia? I guess it's a pretty name, but it has some heavy connotations. And Ophelia is my stepsister. Ah, the wicked stepsister. Out! Out, damned spot! Angel laughed. I think you're suffering from Shakespeare confusion. Something wicked this way comes, Dominic said. Angel laughed harder. Better sentiment, but you're still in the wrong play. Ah well, this above all, to thine own self to be true. Ding, ding, ding! Give the man a prize, Angel said. He made his way back to Hamlet. They both laughed, and they both spoke at once. Angel said, Thank you for, just as Dominic said, Listen, how about... They both stopped and grinned. Before either could finish a sentence, a woman's voice called out, Dominic! Angel and Dominic turned toward the voice. Another Freddy's employee, a 30-something woman, just stood outside the dining room. There you are, she said. The woman was tall and athletic-looking, with brown hair caught up in a ponytail. She wore Freddy's uniform, and she looked perfectly calm, in spite of the chaos swirling around her. Dominic stood. Hey, Nancy. I'm coming. Meet me in the kitchen. It's like, meet me in the kitchen, Nancy said. Dominic turned and held out his hand. Angel took it. She was happy to have the chance to hold his hand again. I'm sorry to abandon you all to this. He waved his arms out. And your evil stepsister, too, but duty calls. No problem. He smiled at her. Before my boss so rudely interrupted, I was about to ask if you might like to go out tomorrow night. There's an indie band playing at the Rock House. Would you be game? Sure, I'd like that. Great. If you give me your number, I can pick you up. If you don't want to give me your number, you can meet me there. Angel rattled off her home phone number and rattled off. Dominic laughed. Okay, then. He repeated the number back to her, and she nodded. You won't forget it? She asked when he didn't write it down. She wanted to kick herself because she sounded like a nag. He didn't seem to mind. I have a great memory. I won't forget it. Or you. Angel blushed. Dominic reached into the pocket of his uniform vest. And here's my Freddy card. You can always call me. Angel took the card and stuck it in her jeans pocket. But you won't have to call me, Dominic said. I'll beat you to it. I'm going to be working here late tonight. Lots of cleanup to do, and then prep for another party tomorrow. I'll call you later this evening to set up the time, Dominic said. Angel nodded. Are you heading back in? Dominic asked her. She shrugged, then nodded. Guess I have to. Dominic laughed and offered his arm. Then may I escort you to the pandemonium, milady? Angel laughed and took his arm. You may, Prince Charming. Dominic chuckled and led her back into the dining room. He squeezed her hand briefly before letting her go in the doorway. Until later, he said. She nodded. Where have you been? Myron demanded when Angel got back to her family's table. The band was ready for a sing-along. Angel glared at him. I had to clean up the pizza sauce. Your klutzy daughter decided to smear all over me. Angel's mom leaned in. The snarky attitude isn't necessary. Ophelia is only 5 years old, Angel. Yeah, I know. And yet, she's the head of the household. How does that make sense? Myron shook his head. The sing-along started, and Angel noticed Dominic, who was now singing too, moving gracefully from table to table. His voice could be heard above the din of all the kids' voices. He had a really nice voice. As she watched him singing with a trio of rambunctious boys, Angel wondered if Dominic wanted to be a performer. That was what she was going to be. Angel was going to be an actress, singer, and dancer. She was equally talented at all three. Truly, all the teachers in the drama and music department at her high school had told her she was talented enough to make it in the entertainment industry. They were the ones who encouraged her to apply to the performing arts school. She probably wouldn't have had the confidence to do it without their urging. Audiences are just going to eat you up, Angel, her favorite drama teacher had said when she had given Angel the application. "You're going to be special, unlike any other." When she applied to school, Angel had no idea how she was going to pay for it because Myron said he wasn't going to pay for some art school that can't prepare you for the real world. She was thrilled that she qualified for loans. Angel watched Dominic dance a sort of modified rumba with a few little kids. Their faces shined with joy. It was strange. Earlier today, this same scene would have had Angel rolling her eyes, but watching how good Dominic was with kids, it made her see this place in a whole different light.